Hello and welcome to episode 60 of Let's Talk Tactics. I'm your host, Zach Bro.
Hey, I'm Daniel Blue.
And I had to say that really clearly because I just fucked that up like 4 times in a row before the cast started. So let's just get into these releases.
Candid takes.
Yeah, someday we'll make a blooper reel. Like if I get sick or something and I can't work, I'll just stay home and just go through old files, and it'll just be the ends and beginnings of like every podcast. And I'll just like do something funny. But
Dude, I know I've told you about this multiple times before, but I think that we should try to do like a live chat thing, like on the PvP server, like voice chat or something, and just have everybody muted, but like people can like tune in live. I think that'd be really cool.
sure. Yeah, we could maybe do that. I guess if we have the power to mute people, so we have to like make a whole channel for it and stuff. That could be fun. I I always hesitate to like do things podcast related in the PvP server, even though like we are the moderators. Like I still don't want to be like, hey, this is our server. It's like, it's the PvP community server.
I mean,
But
nobody uses the voice chats anyways. Like,
that's fair. So it's like, whatever. Like I don't know. Maybe we've earned it by now.
yeah, it might
But
even draw people to the server. I don't know.
yeah, that's fair actually. Yeah, you could do the live takes. People want to like they don't really want to go in the Discord, but that's like pushes them over the edge. Oh, if you'd like that, leave a comment if you are a YouTube viewer and you're not in the PvP Discord, because I think those are kind of unicorns at this point. Like,
Right?
like I feel like that's most of our viewer base. Although there was one comment last video that I replied to. He's asking how to join the server. I'm like, yo, description down below. So yeah, if you want to join the server, there should be a link in the description. If it's expired, yell at Daniel. No, I'm just kidding. We'll figure it out. I'll comment something, but or update it. Anyway, this week we will be, like we mentioned last week, unless you haven't watched it, we will be just kind of catching up on EX releases. We ended up talking for an extensive period of time last podcast about class match, which was good. I mean, it was nice to actually be excited about a class match because I was, a little old, jaded, and frustrated before that, but we're kind of back on the path. But all right, let's start with Ildira. So
I like that. Back on the path.
um fuck was that? Oh, Adira. I'm like, what? I just completely like bamboozled me. I was like, yeah. Oh, that's right. That's honestly, I was sitting there like, what is that from? What is that from? But yeah, I got you now. Anyway, speaking of last week, we bitched a lot about Cheeseblade, and this is the woman herself, Ildira. She got her EX upgrade finally, so this is kind of a big deal, I think. I actually think both of the UR units that got EX this week were kind of, it's like the live PvP week, because like Ildira's had such a large impact on the meta due to her ability, or due to her ability on her LB to just skip people's turns and do really broken stuff with other CT manipulation. So yeah, her upgrades now. Do you want to talk about it, or do you want me to go into it?
Go for it.
Actually, do you have any units you'd like to talk about this week? Do you want to go into Mia since you
Oh god.
the wind man?
No, let's just let's see where we're at.
All right, cool. So she gets upgraded. Now I have to be careful here because this arithmetician is one of those jobs that already has like the upgrade text, so I can't just read down the upgrades. But she got her. Yo, I actually can't read this. Can you help me out here?
Yeah, so her height 3
I
Kira.
have no idea which one got upgraded.
It's the height 3 Kira and the height 3 to height 2 passive.
Oh, height 3 Kiraga now.
Yeah, which is pretty impressive.
That's a large. Wow, that's a massive heal. All right, so yeah, I got upgraded to a 210x instead of a 120x. That's pretty massive. And then sorry, what was the other one you said?
The height 3 to height 2 passive. It's got AoE resistance now.
Oh, sick. Okay. Oh, so it's just okay. It's an upgrade to the upgrading passive. Excellent.
The thing about Ildira, like that, I don't know, people kind of don't really give her credit for as much as like her LB is her ability to be like a magic tank. So I like how like you're probably gonna have either Providence of Fire or height 3 to height 2 as one of her passives, and so like putting AoE resistance on her one of her passives, I think that's really interesting for most of the stuff that she's going to be taking, unless she gets close enough to be hit by like a single target ability. So it makes her a little bit better at doing like her magic tank stuff.
Right. Yeah, and she a thing that I don't know if people have thought of, but back in the day, using Ildira, and I mean arithmeticians in general, before EXs came out, you had to really use the level 4, level 3 passive to really make the skill's worth it. But now
Yeah,
that everyone's 120, at least the units you really have to worry about being 120, um, you don't need to do that anymore because 120 is a multiple of 4. So,
and
uh,
3.
yeah, right, and 3. So you can actually just kind of switch your passives, and I feel like you have a lot more freedom now with those units, which is really cool. But you can still specialize for like PvE stuff. But let's look at her job. Uh, 25 skill is called Height 3 Resistivity. And it
Resistance.
Yeah, resistant. Yeah, exactly. It increases strike resistance by 15. Increases, and that increases over height, kind of like all the other height stuff, all the other height abilities. Also increases pierce and missile resist.
It's all
So
3. That's all 3 they get the buffed.
it's weird that only the strike resistance has that extra like plus
No,
line or whatever.
it's all 3. Yeah, but the line,
Right
that's
on
weird.
the display on one of
Yeah,
the vision calc, yeah, was throwing me off. I was like, oh, that's it. Yeah, I mean, strike, pierce, and missile by 15 is pretty good. I mean,
25.
25.
Yeah, plus 10. Because like, let's be honest. Like, if you're using this, or even if it's on auto, whatever, if you're not on the same height, then you're fucking up. Like, it's gonna be like a 25% res bump.
So the display here says increase by 10%, increase the effect by 10%. That is
Yeah,
just like a flat plus 10 to
yeah, yeah.
25, not 10% of the
Oh
15%.
God, I don't even want to think about like how little effect that'll be.
You'd have because it rounds down, you'd have 16%. It'd be
Oh
fantastic.
God.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool ability. I mean, the arithmeticians have just been kind of like different flavors of curing and different flavors of like their elemental damage. So to give them some sort of other buff is really nice, I think. So yeah, I mean it's a good upgrade, and obviously the heal being bigger is really nice. Health pools are bigger now. There's a lot of healing up, so I think you're getting a lot of value out of that. But there's nothing like super duper exciting or compelling for me. How do you feel about these upgrades?
I mean, my biggest takeaway is that she has more tools available to survive against like the lightning blitzkrieg, like the rush, especially like Frederica Barrage, for instance. Like having the chance to buff a missile attack res, as well as having that innate like AoE res. Like she's not going to really survive too well against like a sharpshoot or whatever from her or Cloud, but she might survive a little bit more than you would expect normally against like Cloud's like guaranteed like triple hit attack, or because it's AoE, or like I said, like one of their barrages or something. Actually, I really like these upgrades and that from that perspective, because normally she just gets like one shot right from like a
Right.
lightning unit, and most lightning units we can expect to be ranged like not even like even Layart can really tear her a new
Yeah.
one. So and even if like her buffs get like her job 25 skill like gets like dispelled from like a dispel spread from like Niv'Lu or something, it's still going to take effect for
The
that
damage before the
attack.
dispel, right?
Exactly. So really that's all she really needs, especially since she can really like heal like at the Curaga level now, from an AoE. Basically, like I think they gave her a better shot at doing what she does best and supporting the team. But not just that, but like her survivability. So yeah, it's kind of, I don't know if I want to say exciting because it's hard to get excited about support units.
Hmm.
But I think this is definitely, it's one of those X upgrades that is warranted. So yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I mean, it's more of what she can already do and gives her a fun new tool. So, and like you said, to keep her alive as well, so that she can continue doing the job she, is there to do. Speaking of live PvP All Stars, though, Niv'Lu also got the upgrade. So, she stat wise, it actually says she gets no HP from her. Oh, that's just from the board. Okay. She still gets from the levels. I was about to say, doing her dirty, damn. Even with this 446 extra HP, though, she only has 2.6k total health. Good lord. Man, she's squishy. But, yeah, no major stats that I see that are kind of crazy. Her node, that she gets at the top, though, is attack. It's a flat 30, which is nice.
Yeah, that is nice.
But
Keep her
moving
like
into,
competitive with like the other guys.
for sure. But she gets the classic treatment, as we've been saying all the time, of an EX upgrade. giving a unit that was kind of the before the like defense and spirit penetration times a 40 defense pen on their passive that they almost always use. So I
From
mean,
the Renaissance.
yeah, right. So generally, I mean, you could make an argument that she uses concentrate and long range for the +3 range, but I mean, I do sometimes use either concentration speedcast or concentration sniper mastery, depending on kind of
Yeah.
the flavor of the team I'm building. But this makes it a lot more attractive to actually use sniper mastery, which is now known as Way of the Strongbow. So it gives you the 15 missile attack, the 12% luck, which is always helpful for accuracy, and also the 40 defense bend. So, I don't know, because she does have access to target. I think there's a argument that she just doesn't need that long range anymore. Like, this is just so strong. Could you see yourself choosing range over this? And does
No,
this
not really.
complicate her using speedcast? Because like for like double quicken
It's.
teams, you generally want to have that, especially with her who doesn't have any other source of it.
I think it gives her more of a. It gives the player more of a chance to mess around with like the timing of the quickens, because like generally you can like when while you're tuning the team, there's a process to that tuning. So like if you can get away with not having speedcast, you'll have the chance to like even like on a double quicken team where she's more of a support character, she'll still be able to kind of maybe pick up and carry if your hyper carry dies, um, especially with like her defense pen.
Sure.
So honestly, eh, I don't know, man. It depends. I guess like I don't know if you have the chance to really tell what team you're going up against. Like definitely not in class match, obviously, but maybe like in other modes, you can try to switch between. Honestly, like I have found that the range passives have not always been like the priority pick. So there's a case for going her way of the strongbow passive as well as speedcast.
It lets you pivot easier during a match too. If she needs to go on like damage mode, you want to have
Yeah,
access to a passive
because
like that.
I mean, really, I think they're more relevant for like maybe auto matches, so that she can, for so these range units don't have to get that much closer in order to hit things, and that much closer to death because of like
Right.
the reaction to you moving forward. Um,
And also
this
with the
is
maps
my
we
hot
get,
take.
there's been a lot more height differences on them
Yeah,
that you can really play with that give units like her extra range anyway if you position well. So I
yeah.
think the trade-off of having a little bit less is probably worth it, honestly.
Yeah. So like basically, if I can get away with not having to use speedcast, then that's what I'm going to do. I guess it really depends on what other quicken unit you're using, like especially if you're using Chell or God forbid like Skull.
God forbid Skull. Yeah, he is the other two-tick quickener that's natural, but well, I think there's actually a third now. Does Aerith have two-tick? Is she the one? I feel like there's another unit that can do it now.
Oh, I can't remember.
But in either case, Niv'Lu, her other upgrade is her barrier break arrow is now barrier obliterator. It gets a damage bonus, so it goes from 170 to 200. But other than that, I think that's
That's it.
basically all
Yeah,
that happened.
just
Yeah, I mean,
medium to large damage.
which is nice. I
Yeah,
mean,
I
I'll
mean
always appreciate more damage.
I think it goes in line with like the theme of her X upgrade. Like she's a strongbow, which is fucking weird to me. Like I never would have expected Niv'Lu to be like the strongbow like
She's like the
X.
assassin bow person, right? Like
Yeah.
the spider, the sneaky one or whatever.
Wasn't like X or Summer Lilith like some kind of strongbow? Like I can see her being
Maybe.
more of like a assault type character, but I don't know. I guess I don't really. I guess I underestimate Niv'Lu's damage on her like max 120 and then all of her X
Yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah, it's nice because like Dispel Spread does cost 40 AP. So if you want to have something that's doing that 200 mod to like really finish someone off,
Yeah, it's a gem
now you have
fest.
another option. Yeah, for 24
Cost.
AP, the 200. Yeah. And her last ability, speaking of Strongbow, is Strongbow Stance. So it increases missile attack by 80 for one turn. Now she doesn't have Emerald Echo or anything cute like that to make that last longer. But you do get to use it and then benefit from it the following turn. And you can do it twice, which is cool. and it's
That
26
is cool.
AP. You get some AP back. And I don't know if anyone's ever used her LB, but it does hit
It
really hard.
does. It slaps.
That 35. So not only does she have 40 defense by now, she also can break 35 defense right off the bat with her LB. And if you have this 80 modifier buff on right before that, I could see her doing some serious AoE damage. So maybe we will see, like I mentioned last podcast, we have the Shell, Gilgamesh, and Miranda team. Like I could easily see her on like one of those kind of triple quicken teams, and she's one of the options you have to kind of send her
Yeah.
in over other units depending on the matchup.
It's really interesting. Like, now that I've had the chance to really think about it for a couple seconds, like you don't even need to use Platinum Bow on her, but like if you do,
Right.
you're gonna hit 100% defense pen. As long as you have the chance to like start with target and then
Yep.
getting to engaging distance with strongbow stance, like it's gonna do a lot of damage. And like even if you don't use platinum bow, you can like actually switch back to like her killer bow, like her original bow, for that extra 15 damage mod.
Well, it's true. Yeah. I mean, what was it? Winter Victor, I think, was the one where we were like, oh my God, she can hit 100% defense
Yeah,
bank because she had
and
the
cloud.
platinum bow and passes and all that. And then, yeah, we started getting more, but, you know, now Niv'Lu can join that party. So
Yeah, it's crazy.
pretty cool. Again, I think it's another case of the unit getting, like, shoring up one of their main builds and just making it that much better. Uh,
Right.
Not
Because
really any new tools,
how do
but
you improve upon time mages?
right, that's true. These are actually both kind of like CT manipulation units, right? Like she has the Quicken, then Eldira has the broken LB we always bitch about. So moving on to Mia, so wind unit, unless you want to talk about her, I can get into that.
I go for it.
All right. So she gets decent amount of HP actually, 450 for an R unit. So she is actually the last rare unit to get an EX because we already have Layart and Mish with theirs. So she kind of completes that. Does every SR have it now?
I'd be hard pressed to tell.
I won't think too long about it, but I think we're at the
Yeah,
point where all of them have it. All of the MRs don't, but
I'd have to go back and look.
SR unless I think. In either case, she's
Never
an
even thought about that.
interesting. Yeah, right. She's an interesting rare unit though. She has no like negative resistances or positive, and the resistance like for slash and pierce and all that, except for magic is -25. So that's kind of rare, pun intended, for a rare unit or units of those lower rarities. They tend to be really negative in the resistances. So I actually never realized that about her, and that's kind of cool. She is a thief with cleric and spellblade sub, so maybe she's supposed to be kind of, which is weird. Like you're a cleric spellblade, but you're like minus to magic. I don't know, bizarre. But hey, at least the other ones aren't so negative. She's actually one of the units that was used in the past. She was a choice for maxing a low rarity unit when resources were super scarce, like rainbow. Like people used rainbow fragments on her because of that main thief job. Because she gets access to like Steelheart and stuff. But anyway, upgrade wise, her acquired AP up level 1 gets upgraded to Thick as Thieves. So a
Love it.
complete name switch, like not even remotely close to the old one. And we were just kind of talking about her being tanky. She gets Defense and Spirit 20. No time limit, just straight up plus 20 defense, plus 20 spirit. That is a bizarre upgrade for a thief ability. I'm all for it. It's kind of diverse. I like it. But that's so strange. Like what does that make you think in terms of like a design standpoint? Like are they just forcing her to be more tanky, like with that spellblade? But
Yeah, it's weird because you wouldn't expect a main job thief to move towards being more tanky. Like it's definitely highlighting her spellblade, like her being more of a magic tank. And I know there's been like we've had a lot of discussion about like what makes a tank. And for me,
sure.
like I said, it always comes down to how much hate you can generate, so that
Just
you.
haunting spell.
Yeah, exactly. So Spellblade and Paladin are kind of like the two main tank classes in my opinion. So I mean, I don't know how well she's gonna survive, but I mean, it helps, I guess. Like especially because of like her other spirit up passive. Like, you can just hit Thick as Thieves and Providence of Earth, and just be able to tank magic damage that much easier, and
Mhm.
get away with having an extra 50 mod on your acquired AP.
Yeah, that's
Just
fair.
have to get away with not using Thief lore, which is weird. Like you always
Weird
have
and
to be floor
annoying,
on her.
yeah.
Yeah.
Her other job or her other ability upgrade, her sneak attack. So that's the guaranteed crit, and also guaranteed hit from behind, which I don't think that's noted here. It says guaranteed critical hit, but that doesn't necessarily. It's not. It doesn't necessitate that it's gonna
I think
have
it's
100% accuracy.
I think it's the fact that it's a guaranteed hit. That's a
Although according
guaranteed
to
crit.
WatVCalc, it is guaranteed hit. It's not
Guaranteed.
guaranteed. Typo.
Uh,
Often mentions Bismarck, but that gets upgraded to surprise attack. Does the same damage, also crit from behind, except it decreases their critical evasion by a flat 50 for 3 turns. So that's kind of cool. We do talk about critical evasion being sort of a lackluster skill sometimes, or stat rather. But when you, given all the critical stuff that is coming out recently and that nobody really specifically builds for, I mean, maybe there's a place for this where she sets up for like a Varouche. So like both of them can do reasonable like magic damage tanking. He's that
like
katana job or whatever. Yeah, exactly. So
Blazel.
can kind of just synergize together that way. But and then her job 25 skill is Slowpoke. Love the name. It is actually it's a range 4
Yeah.
attack with 3 casts for only 20 AP. So that's super interesting. And it decreases single target res by 30. And I like how it says for Justice cast. The wording on War the Visions calc has been changing for a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
That one just caught me off guard. But that's 165 damage mod, which is respectable, and it also decreases their agility for 25 or by 25% for the returns. That's pretty cool. I mean, the name Slowpoke fits. It's not like it cuts CT, but I mean, cutting agility can be. It has other repercussions, like it decreases evade at that point. Obviously, how often they take turns, and it's a debuff, not a status thing. So, yeah, interesting upgrades. It kind of leans more into the sneakiness, but also giving her tanky. It's weird. It like makes her tankier and sort of backstabbier.
Yeah, it's weird. Like generally, you wouldn't think of Mia as like an option for like magic tanking. Like you're probably going to use her thief, like her main job, main sub job. Steal time, Shadowcast, Snipe Dagger. Those are all like really good abilities. And I wanted to briefly mention like for some reason I had this this perception in my head that she was like this happy-go-lucky, cheerful like thief, but like you see her in like the storyline and she's like this asshole, and you're like, what the hell? Like she's just like full of like piss and vinegar or something. So like seeing this job 25 skill and this troll named Slowpoke, you can
Yeah, right.
see her just like taunting people without the taunting spell.
Hey, there you go. Maybe that's how she gains hate.
That's interesting. Like it's weird that it doesn't decrease single target res for like 3 turns, because it definitely seems like a support ability for the rest of her team. But you don't really expect Mia to be doing like magic tanking or really a lot of damage. So like the whole single target res down is weird. But I like the agi break. Agi break is always something that's useful, and I think in terms of that, like using this like I haven't seen Mia used in a raid since like the first like Lucia raids. God, what was the boss? It was like the
Was it
blob, like the chocolate
Flan?
blob.
Chocolate Flan?
Yeah,
Yeah.
chocolate flan. Um, Still remember like Monty. I don't know if you know who Monty is, but like
Yeah, yeah.
he used Mia a lot and he had like 3 Lucia teammates. So for whatever reason, if you need a steal timer, like she can decrease agility now as well as decrease like CT. So I kind of like that in that aspect.
Yeah. Interesting. She's actually one I would consider. I mean, the upgrades are interesting enough, and especially for us specifically, if we ever do like a quote unquote low tier or like low rarity thing, she'd be a realistic option. But the last upgrade for that week that we missed is Bloody Moon. Got an upgrade. So this is
Yeah, like
the big old red skull that casts doom on you and annoying PvE content. But the Esper actually has been pretty decent. The fact that it has charm resist was one thing that drew me to it. For I think there was the underground tower thing, the like something deep, midnight deep or something like that. What was that called? Deep dungeon? cannot remember what that was
All
called.
I can think of is Porcelain Tower.
Yeah, it was like the
But
tower's
yeah,
basement, basically. There was this one stage that just had all these like charm units, and you could beat the mission just by charming the first guy, and
yeah.
then he charms everyone else. But this Esper is something that was super useful there. But it also has like missile resist and dark resist, a little bit of magic percent. And now with its EX, it has spirit up to looks like 15, and then it also expands on its accuracy branch, which is really nice. So pretty decent upgrades. It has blind resist, which is a little mediocre. We're seeing it a little more, but I think the impact of it is completely opponent dependent. Like if they're evade, this like blind kind of sucks, right? Because then it really just fucks you for hitting them. But if they're not evade and you get blinded, you might have a lower chance than 100 to hit them. But meh, blind isn't something I really think about too often.
Really.
Not, I mean,
I mean, like
I don't
from
play
what
around
I
it. Like if it happens, it's
yeah
annoying, but like it's not
yeah
something I play based on. Except for
gotcha
maybe counter smoke, I'll like try to stay one space extra if I can.
right.
But typically, yeah.
Yeah, we haven't really seen many chances to punish people with blind besides like Winter Victoria's LB, I think.
Hmm.
Um, but um, I
And
really like
Mustadio, I think, was one that was annoying.
yeah okay yeah. In terms of like the Bloody Moon Esper, it's always been one of my premier like MR Esper picks for like obviously whoever can use it. Um, like that and Mind Flayer, I think, are two that
Hmm.
I almost always, along with Cactuar, like you know, at the SR level or whatever, that I almost always try to build for like limited team cost options. And so the fact that it gets these awesome upgrades is just that much better. Like, yeah, the blind is kind of a niche, like luxury kind of pick, but like you said, the charm res has always been useful. But the fact that Bloody Moon gets higher accuracy now as well as spirit, it just keeps it relevant in my opinion.
Right.
Like you're always going to be like those two. Like you're gonna pick Bloody Moon not just for the charm res now, but for the accuracy for an MR Esper. So I really like that. I'm glad that they didn't choose something stupid like crit like high like crit
A crit
attack
evade? Oh, okay.
or a crit evade, yeah, or like God forbid, like more magic attack. Like obviously that they wouldn't pick that because of like where it's at, you know. But like I'm almost like happier that it gets like that extra 15 spirit rather than like more dark attack because it's more of a utility pick instead of
Sure.
just more for like you know another dark esper for a dark team. You know, like they don't need any more of that. So and the fact that it's an accuracy MR esper is also really useful, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Stat wise, I mean, it has 14 agility, so it's on the lower end. Not awful. It's not like down at like the 10 or 11 range, but 101 magic's respectable. I mean, it's a decent overall all around, sorry, Esper. Yeah, I'm a fan. I'm not like racing to get it to 99 or anything, but I
Right.
wouldn't be unhappy to have it.
I'm just glad that the evocation has a guaranteed hit because you know as we've seen, not all MR and lower evos have that guaranteed hit.
Let's be honest, you actually like it because it can inflict doom. That's the real version. That's the real reason.
The niche pick.
Ziza. Nah. Kind of keeping on the dark theme here. Let's talk about Loyal Companion real quick before getting into the Water Select unit. So 358 HP, 151 magic, 50 dex. That's actually a pretty sizable dex value, I
It
feel like,
is.
on
It's
a
crazy.
fishing card. If that was luck, it'd be even better, but you know, dex is acceptable. Doesn't support evade units, I suppose. So on Bestow, it gives and these are all for dark units. Magic 10%, spirit looks like 13, and then decrease your evasion. Sure, I guess kind of doubling down on the whole dex instead of luck thing.
And Spirit
And
10 as well.
what's that?
And Spirit 10.
I said that before the evasion, didn't I? Swear I said it.
So you said I think you said like Spirit looks like 13, but
Did I
no,
say
it's 10.
13?
Yeah, it's Magic and Spirit 10.
5, 3. That is how math works. All right. I
Yeah.
I feel like that 5 looked like an 8 to me. I don't know. All right, you got me.
You,
Um,
I'm not trying to get you.
no, I just mean
Anyways,
yeah, it's just a thing. Yeah, I just say that shit. Garvel specifically though will get a 20% HP increase on Bestow. Then for the party effects, this is Dark's AoE resist card. We also get the magic attack 18, and then when you max the card, you get critical rate 25. I did not pull for this vision card. Did you pull for it? And whether you
No,
did or not, how do you
especially
feel about it?
especially since it's not limited. I'm so thankful that it's not. I'm so tired of these limited freaking vision cards and units. The it gives us some breathing room for like these like pulling for Warriors of the Crystal, or upcoming banners like Final Fantasy VI, that kind of thing. So yeah, this was a hard skip for me because I know I'm just going to pick it up eventually, and like I literally have every other vision card max already, which is nice,
Jeez.
but in terms of the like effects and stuff, I'm really interested now to see how well this pairs with Garble once he gets his X upgrades,
Hmm.
because I want to see him like hit like 7 8k HP. I think that would be really cool because like nowadays, like I see him at level 99 with these other 120 dark units, and it's like, oh, I'm going to target this team because I know that I can one shot Garble, especially
Yeah,
with magic damage. So like in Jaden, Elena, like there's so many picks that makes Garble just a pushover right now in terms of getting one shot. Um, so the 20 HP bonus as well as the AoE res and like the consolation prize of a little bit more magic attack. Um, it's really interesting. And I didn't realize, I could have swore that we had a like a dark UR vision card that had like the 25 crit rate up. But I guess I'm mistaken because like I don't think they would have released this with that being like the level 99 like
it
like
would have had to be
bonus.
a limited card to overlap like that. So
Maybe
maybe
I
that's
don't know. But yeah, overall, like I love the Dex. Like Dex 50 is awesome. Especially like, well, Garvel doesn't need it because of his detonation blast, obviously being guaranteed hit. But yeah, I like it. Spirit is random for the bestowed, but it's good to have like another defensive pick for like a dark UR card.
right.
Interesting. So yeah, once I have the chance to play around with it, I'll kind of revisit that.
So
We saw, sorry, so often we see just like a dark team go on like hyper attack mode. We don't really see a lot of like defensive like comps. So yeah, I like that it's available.
wait, me, you don't play Tyitis all the time?
God,
Fleeting Blossom Banquet has 25 crit damage. That might be what
yeah,
you were thinking of.
maybe because I do end up using that more than I might have expected. But that's more just for like a 5-man dark team.
Right. Do you have any opinions on Rayches? Is it Rayches? Rayches? Rachel? Are we calling her Rachel?
Yeah,
I think we
I
called that
was
before.
going with Rayches. Yeah.
uh, yeah, I mean she's a select water unit, so she's the 80 cost, no LB um unit that we got. She's kind of interesting. She's like this magical water samurai lady. I'm gonna let you go through her if you can.
I really like her as a counter to King Mons. She's got the innate Berserk res of 50%, as well as like a 50% like confusion res. So like I don't know if it's really going to be that useful against Agrius. Like that's the first person I think of when I think of like a confusion
Yeah.
uh, status effect. Um, she has like a decent slash resist mod of 5, but she has decent resist like across the board. Like the only weakness she has is to strike, and that's only -5. No pierce resistance, but missile and magic 10%. Like anything that's like in the black instead of the red, is good in my book. So um, I haven't really looked at her like her base agi, and that's something I almost always look at. But I'm seeing now that she has a base of 54, which is basically like average. Like you would expect a tank to be around that, or maybe like not a hyper carry, more like something like Elda, for instance. Like Elda does surprising damage, but he's just not that fast. So
Mhm.
like that's kind of the agi range that I see as like average. So that's unfortunate. Like she gets 7 agility from her board, so she ends up with 61. Um, But yeah, I was expecting her to be a little bit faster, especially since she's like the blade of godly speed or something like that.
Is
I
that her
expected her to be
name?
like,
Like her
yeah,
title?
it's something like that. So I was like, yeah, what the fuck, like that should be faster. But I mean, she gets like the agi like passive, so that's something. Speaking of that, like her, so Blade Souls get like the agi and Spirit Pen like passive is called Blade Soul Lore. That's at like job level 5, so like they all get it. Um, what's interesting to me is she gets more initial AP. It's like the red mage initial AP up, which is really nice for Blade Soul because I don't think they start with like 50% of their API. Actually, I haven't really had the chance to mess around with her, so that might be the case. They start with 50 instead of 75, but um, in any case, like 20 more initial AP is just like that's pretty much like a priority pick for like one of your passives, right?
Yeah.
And then you just decide like, do you want more accuracy? Like probably yes, because you can stack the Spirit Pen with just your passives. By the way, like 80 Spirit
That
Pen,
is a nutty. Yeah,
yeah,
that's crazy.
like good luck. Like the only way you're really going to be able to resist the kind of damage that she can dish out is by like barriers or like magic resist, and the fact that she has slash damage as a blade soul. Um, Magic res isn't even a thing, so you just have to rely on like barriers basically, or like shell for instance, shell the ability, not the shell the character.
Nah, you can
Um,
always rely on Shell the character.
so uh, Uh, so she isn't the first Blade Soul that we've seen like main job. Obviously, there's Varouche, and I think they're only two like Blade Soul main jobs so far.
Believe so,
So we
yeah.
don't really have to go too far into like the Blade Soul job itself as far as the main abilities. So jumping into her X jobs, the Bamboo Splitter that restores CT by 25 basically. With the large mod of 200, that gets upgraded so that it not only restores her CT, but it decreases the agility of the target as long as they get crit, which is just an even more insane kind of flux. If that's the right word to use, like it's not only making her go like take her next turn faster, but just like agi breaks, like I said just a moment ago, like are just one of the best breaks, if not the best break in the game, just because of how important, like obvious, like taking the next turn is before your opponent does to get that like double turn or whatever. Um, so obviously I already mentioned the other X upgrade, the Blade Soul Enlightenment, that gives her that initial AP up on her Blade Soul passive. Um, Jumping into like her job 25 skill is called Sustaining Slash, and I think like it does a decent, like it's like a medium like 165 damage mod, but the fact that it restores 10 AP on critical hit, that's it to me. That reminds me of like the cloud buff, where like
Hmm.
you restore, like you basically, it has the same effect, but I don't know if it's always like 10 AP. I can't remember,
I'm
but
not familiar enough with the cloud.
yeah, it's interesting. It's a two hits for 18 AP with a 165 mod. It's kind of like something you're probably going to be using a lot, especially like her X upgrades are really nice for like making sure she has gas in the tank,
Yep.
basically. Like that's the term we use for like whether or not you run out of AP before you're done doing what you need to do. So um, yeah, I really find her toolkit interesting, especially since she has the opportunity to be like a rune knight and have like water god, drain evo. So like you don't really have to worry too much about like the slash resistance of your opponent, which just makes her do that much more damage. Like when if she can set up a drain evo into like any of her other slash attacks, like I said, you're really only going to be able to defend against it with like a magic barrier or like shell. And let's be honest, like you don't really see those that often unless it's in like live PvP, for instance, with like Mashri's TMR or something,
Right.
or Yuno's TMR. I don't really expect her to be using her Black Mage sub job that often. It's kind of like Black Mage is one of those like kind of jobs that's kind of a relic nowadays. It's
Yeah,
kind of nice.
unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean like
So
she
iconic.
has she has water gush, she has drain, she has sleep, she has bio. So like it's useful, but like if you can find a use for it, like good on you. Like Rune Knight is definitely one of those. It's like you ever see like Men in Black where he's like
Waiting for
like
it. I don't know where
old
you're
and
going yet.
busted, new hotness, old and busted. Like that's kind of the difference between those. Um, but honestly, like Rune Knight and her main sub job, like Blade Soul, the Slate Wiper is just so like it's a dispel spread, but with a lower damage mod. It looks like, but you just have to rely on her critting, which is kind of the only drawback. But it's got really nice range. Range height one, AOE height one. But being able to dispel buffs and dispel haste, it just is just really useful when you need
Especially
it.
at AoE. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And the fact that like the Blade Soul like Brave Breaker ability, it's like we've already discussed how amazing it is to decrease bravery without having to rely on it having a chance to hit. So like as long as you can get Rayches the crit, I think she really can fit into like a water team that like you're trying to. I don't know whether hybrid or using her as like a hyper carry with like Aerith and um, I don't know, maybe even like Winter Victoria or something, just to have like a double threat or something. Um, but yeah, I can definitely see her fitting in a water team.
I like her thematically, like all the
Yeah,
jobs together. Like she's just like magic samurai, but like I imagine her like running in battle and like casting water go over here and then like slashing somebody. Like it's just like I like the theme of it, but yeah,
yeah,
as you said, Black
and
Mage is such a relic.
it's just it's a little weird. Like it was easy to forget that she's a selection quest unit. Like what? Like I think she definitely rates up there in terms of like the free units that we've gotten.
Yeah, definitely a sweet unit.
I just
Uh, sorry.
I just wish that she had jump too, honestly. That's like my one takeaway. Like 3 move, 1 jump for a blade of godly speed. She could be faster and she could jump a little higher. I guess that's all I'm gonna say.
70 agility and 3 jump. Let's see it. No. Uh,
3 jump.
yeah. So
That's,
the
that's obviously the blade soul main job.
wait, what's that?
The blade soul main job as 3 move, 1 jump. So like
Right,
it's
right.
not something that she can really get away with.
Speaking of getting away with, I don't know how Gumi got away with making this item, but we're gonna talk about the Myth Graven Blade now.
Yeah,
This was the in box reward, we'll say, for the most recent. I almost said selection. What the
trials.
hell? Trials. Thank you. Trials of Reckoning. That we only had a week for, and I don't know how much you were able to get it, but I was only between 1 and 2 million points. I definitely did not get as many of these as I wanted, but I do have at least 1+5. This item is nuts. How much did you? How many did you get, or how'd you join this event?
I haven't spent any of my like tokens or whatever. Like I haven't like opened any of the boxes or anything. I was just trying to focus on school and like real life stuff, and but also do well enough for my guild. I feel bad because like there are people in my guild like Minute and Telomere, like they're at like the top ranks. Like they treat like they're always serious about Trials of Reckoning. So much so that like people have joined our guild server um on like solely to like be able to like talk about like trial stuff. So
I think I
um
saw Telomere's name. Was he like number? He's in top
yeah,
10.
I think he got like the top spot, honestly.
Oh, did he?
Like but somebody did. So obviously somebody
They
always is
beat the
going to.
hackers. That's interesting.
Yeah, so whether or not they got top one, but both of them are definitely like top 10, I think. So um, yeah, kudos to them. I feel bad. I only ended up getting around like 3 mil total points, but I was too busy. I was doing like you had to juggle like this trials with like everything else. Like I always spend like 3,400 like medals a day on like the event stuff, so that I get like the pots and the snappers and stuff. Even if I don't need those things, like it's always like I got to keep up like the 3,400 medals a day. So between like juggling like the rest of the stuff that you spend energy on um, and not being able to auto it like every day as much as I'd have liked to. I definitely didn't progress as much as I would have liked to. But so 3 mil total, and I got some decent high scores on both the bosses and the quests. So I think I ended up with like 4,500 like total whatever tokens or whatever. I'm not sure if that's correct, but anyways, I haven't tried to get through any of the boxes yet, but I'm sure I can build at least one of these, and you know damn well I am going to, because holy shit, your sword with 20 slash attack and decreased AP consumption by 20 is, like you said, just bonkers.
It is
Um,
by far and away the best assault,
yeah,
like just generic use sword that we
like
have now.
I can see somebody like, obviously assault is a no-brainer, but I can see somebody like Leo's Hantai, for instance, like building the magic pick, just to be able to put it on like Elena. You know how he said before, like he uses like 3-star ring on her for the decreased AP consumption.
Yeah.
This is obviously going to be able to replace that, so he can use like, I don't know, like a winter coat on her instead, for the evade, obviously. So yeah, I am struggling to think of how much this swings like the power curve ahead of the game, in terms of slash attackers. Um, it's having another like you are like blade, besides like the purple lightning, um, to have that extra slash attack, instead. I mean, it's only a 5 mod difference between, like the MR versions or whatever, but I really think decreased AP consumption is a huge deal.
I mean,
Um,
imagine if like Orlando back in the day had this.
yeah.
Like,
Um,
what? That's insane.
I remember like one of the first things I thought of, when I saw this, and I was talking about this on like on a Discord somewhere, was like the Catone rush, where like getting her to be able to do her LB on her second turn, and just like stop, like take a unit out of the match basically, and make it like a 3v2. It's like the decreased AP consumption, there are like situations where it's going to be the difference between winning the match and losing the match, or the battle
Hmm.
or whatever. And I think it's a little understated and underestimated, honestly. So the fact that it's available now, and people have built like people have built like multiples, like
Do I have a
um,
guilty
yeah,
that farmed? I had him send me a score before the podcast. It actually wasn't a size I was expecting. He did 7.1 million
okay,
for his personal score. I guess he was like number 361. There's like 360 people did more than that, which is absurd to me.
yeah,
But he built like 3 ribbons. He got at least one or two of these. He got like, I think like a bow and a half and like 2 spear. Like he just got everything and he needed,
yeah.
because he did not farm it a lot the first time, so he had to make like fresh spears and bows and stuff. He had easily 12,000 medals by the end of it. I saw a screenshot, but
Wow,
if not more. But yeah, this thing, man, 171 attack is,
it's the
I believe
highest.
that's the highest, right? Like that's
Yeah,
just the highest sword, straight
yeah.
up. Like so,
So
if
like,
you're an assault, this is it. Unless you need like Ice Brand because you want to have the 45 mod. But even then, the AP consumption maybe could sway you to doing this. You give up 25 mod, which is, it's significant, but the higher base attack plus the, yeah, I don't, man, this is actually, it's just such a great item.
and it's a problem because the fact that like pretty much all sword like wielding jobs can use it. Like imagine if it was just for Cecil. Can you just because this is his blade, like from the game. So the fact that everyone can use it, just like everyone can use like Elena's,
Hmm.
yeah, it's just imagine.
And we talk a lot of shit about like aim versions of swords or weapons, whatever, with 14 accuracy not being really good enough for aim. But if you just slap 13 accuracy on every version of the sword, like I'll accept that. Like that could potentially make a difference while without having to give up damage somewhere. So just the fact that all 3 versions get that's pretty nice. I I will say I don't know if I'd build a magic version. Like I think I'd build like 5 assaults before I build a magic,
Right.
just because like I, I'll give up the 41 to like have this as an option for another physical unit because it's such a
Right.
harsh drop off. Like
Yeah.
and it's
Like
so
half,
niche.
over half.
Yeah, and generally like the AP, the magic sword users that would want this, you know, I mean, Elena has some AP issues sometimes on auto and stuff because you're not using buffs at like opportune times or weaving them between turns or anything. But I don't know. I just go assault, please. Build at least 3 assaults before you even think about
Please.
going magic. Like it's
So
I don't know.
I'm glad you mentioned that because honestly, I feel like Sword of Light is going to be the biggest competitor to this. So like really
That's true.
you're gonna see this more on like non-light units, I think. Um, which is why it's crazy that like all of them can use it because um, just for example, just in the trials that just finished, like I only had two swords of light built, and one was assault and one was magic. I was using the magic version of the sword of light on Cecil, and it was worth it because it not only was slash mod, but the light mod. Like I lost a little bit of attack, but he was still at like I don't know 1200 attack or something. So
It
like
gets huge.
there are times where you can like it's a um an acceptable compromise to miss out on that much attack, you know. Um, so the fact that not just like the slash attack and decreased AP consumption, but there's a little bit of accuracy on there too. Um, you're probably going to be using this more often than something like if you don't need slash res pen, you're not going to use the engine blade, or if you don't need defense pen, you don't really need to use the spine blade, especially when you have like other pieces of gear like the accessories or something that can provide like defense pen or stuff like that. So to have just this all around good item is kind of a big spike in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. Now this week we got quite the unit and piece of gear VC. Just the releases this week were pretty solid. Would you like to take us through the newest wind unit, or would you like me to run
Yeah,
through?
yeah,
Okay, cool, cool,
I'll
cool.
take it over.
Now, real
So
quick, this is an apothecary that doesn't throw potions. I'm very disappointed.
I know
I
the
hope we get an alchemist at some point
yeah,
or a
so
chemist.
it's the chemist job. Yeah, so like I think some of us like Final Fantasy Tactics enthusiasts are still holding out hope for like a chemist where like you can actually make the items in the game relevant, like throwing a shell potion or something. Like it's
To
actually
dispel
helpful.
shell, maybe
Yeah, like there's no
offensive.
reason, like the only reason to like the only way that you can dispel like protect and shell right now, beside I think there's like one way to do it besides this item is an item, and it's like you just never use it because it's only useful for PvE. So I wonder if that's why we don't have a chemist yet, because it'll just dramatically change the way that we play PvP and like use buffs and stuff. So anyways, more the merrier is for me, I'm sure I'm not alone, but this came out of nowhere. I had no idea that we were going to have like a global unit, not just a global unit, but like another wind unit. Like what? Like they had 6 months in advance to plan this shit out, and we just got like what, like three wind units and like an X upgrade or something. Um, for obviously for Halloween Little Leela. So just like it's the era of wind right now, and it's crazy. So for her, yes, she's limited. So like if you have the chance to pick her up, you're not going to regret it. And it might suck like missing out on her later. She's cost 90, average move and jump. Like I said from before, like 3 and 1 is kind of what you expect from most units that don't really seem like they're like that mobile. So we can expect that from any further apothecaries, which I'm thinking like I don't know if it's that unique of a main job. Like how like Elena and like Yorzazan, like they have these like unique jobs that you're probably
Yeah,
not going to see.
or
I
Knight
wonder
of
if it's
Grand
like
Shell on Rain or
yeah,
something in
yeah.
Maswell.
So like I don't like she doesn't seem like a unique story unit. It's one of those like I don't know, holiday units like obviously the Halloween ones, the winter ones. So like we might actually see the apothecary class. We'll have to see moving forward if that's the case. Um, but it's another magic like strike. Well, I don't know about strike, but so like the glove, like having another like magic glove user is interesting because really you only have like the one for exorcists, right?
Right.
So introducing like her weapon, which I'm sure we're about to get into, is interesting. So anyways, blah blah blah. Her TMR Auspicious Cheongsam is a cloth armor, 388 HP, which is decent. Defense Spirit of 4 and 12. Random critical evade on there. Those are kind of average values. I think it'll be more useful once we get like the rune system, you know.
Hmm.
That's kind of what I'm kind of trying to keep on my peripheral on the horizon, kind of thing. Like trying to look at these items as like not just how good they are now, but how good they're going to be in the near future.
By the way, I was
Um,
waiting for like the verbal typo, just calling it Shongasm. Because
Sean,
I almost did the first time I read it. I'm like, what is it called? I'm like, oh, Shang Sam.
I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but I did the best I could. Um, so the TMR ability, Good Fortune. I am a fan of any AoE like defensive buff. Like obviously Yuna's TMR with the Protect and Shell, Mashari's TMR. Like we see these get used, like or we saw them get used all the time. Um, and so the fact that this grants Shell for 3 turns and an AoE, like a cross AoE, is really nice. The other aspect of it, like increasing critical evasion, for 30 crit evade. Like I'm struggling to see where like stacking crit evade is going to be useful. Like I have to assume like the old Final Fantasy Brave Exvius that like some of these are going to be useful like later on for fighting bosses or something that are like have like crazy crits and stuff like that. But
Like status
um
effects if they crit kind of thing that
yeah,
like are really debilitating.
but I mean we've seen recently like these jobs that rely on popping off on crits, like we were just talking about Rayches, for instance, the Blade Soul,
Hmm.
like half of its stuff like you need to crit to be able to dispel or do whatever. um and I think Winter Luartha, like you have to crit to bind under Binding Javelin. I can't remember.
I believe so,
um
yeah.
so that is it's an interesting uh pick. Like if you can somehow build enough crit evade to rely on not being crit as much, it's an interesting defensive pick. So I like that it's available. The fact that it's 2 cost is always nice for a TMR. Like
Two
TMRs
casts, you
generally
mean?
only have, yeah, 2 casts. Did I say hits?
You said costs.
Costs. Yeah, 2 casts. It's nice. Generally, you only see TMRs have like 1 cast. So it's only 24 TP, but so it could be a little bit more, especially since generally you see like defensive buffs in like the 30 to 40 TP range.
And it is a cloth like piece, so it's
Yeah,
not just
it's an
like an accessory you
armor.
can slap on
Yeah,
anybody. Like there's a
exactly.
little bit more restrictive.
I'm a big fan of her master ability. So she gets the party element effect, HP and wind attack. But the fact that she gets a magic buff as well as accuracy 15, um, I'm really looking forward to seeing how high of an accuracy that she can build. So before we get into the skills, let me jump into her stats real fast. Um, so let me check. I've been slacking on checking base agility. So her base agility is 56. So like I was saying before, it's kind of average. She gets 5 from her board, so she ends up at 61, kind of the same as Rayches. Um, so I just wanted to make sure to mention that because that's something that we always look at, right?
Hmm.
Um,
Well, it's
Aside
Rachel,
from
but
Rachel, we could talk about like her max HP totals and her magic and stuff, but I'll mention that later. Her resistances are interesting. Like she only like Rachel. Like her only vulnerability is strike attacks. She's got -10% to start with. Her slash res is 5%, no piercing resistance, and or missile is 15% and magic is 10%. So it's interesting how close that is to Rach's is resistance. But where Rayches was kind of like a King Mont's kind of counter, um, More the Merrier has 50% charm res and 50% slow res. The slow ailments, the slow condition, is definitely one of those things where it's like you don't want to see it, and like you're glad when it doesn't work, and it usually doesn't work. But when it works, especially when like Kane's LB, you're
hmm.
kind of fucked. Like
Yeah,
you're gonna get lapped. So the fact, like, I'm always happy to see slow resistance on any unit, just because I know that like when you need it, the fact that it's there is just like, oh, thank God, it's one less thing I have to worry about. So she's gonna have to worry about getting disabled as a like a high faith unit, even like stopped, confused, that kind of thing. But she doesn't have to worry about
islands.
getting charmed. Yeah, silence. Unless you're using like the Terra's like orb, the soul of Thamasa. There we go.
Hmm.
Took me forever to remember. Um, was it Terra or was it Rydia? I think it was Rydia. I don't know.
I have
Anyways,
no idea.
so the fact that she has slow res and charm res, I think that's really cool. Um, Holy shit! Like a new job is just so much content for us to cover in terms of like from a PvP mindset. So we're pretty much gonna have to talk about everything. So I like almost all of her passives are really interesting. The only ones that is kind of just like yawn is the stuff that we see all the time. So like
Like
so
wind
she has
enhancing rune and null CT changes are meh,
yeah.
but all of the other ones are awesome.
So her sub jobs are Rune Knight and Time Mage. Her main job passives are Thriving Mentality, which is a magic 24% and agility 12% buff. So it's nice to give her an agility buff like that. Um, and her other one at job 5 is Toxins and Sedatives, which is really important to address. Increases the chance to apply poison and sleep by 15. And that's not a
Huge.
15%, it's the base 15 increase. So just that's going to be really useful later. But the rest of the passives, from Rune Knight, she gets the wind enhancing rune, um, more wind attack damage, but you're more vulnerable to ice attacks by like 5%. And Sharp Mind is nice for the accuracy, like I mentioned. She can really stack her accuracy. So especially with the vision card that she came with. So Spirit Pen and accuracy is generally pretty nice to see for a unit that's going to be needing it. Like she's not like almost a full support unit. Like maybe Ildira would be looked at. Like her X upgrades were obviously more of a support thing. But so the fact that she gets like Spirit Pen is nice. You can rely on that if you need it. The Spirit Pen and accuracy. Like a Sharp Mind is kind of one of my favorite passives, to be honest. Um, and then from Time Age, we get the Null CT and the Speedcast. So it's nice that she has access to Speedcast, job level 7 Time Age thing. So the fact that she has Quicken is gives her gives
Spoilers.
wins. Yeah,
No.
yeah, it gives wins teams another Quicken option besides like OG Helena.
Right.
Her her reaction skills are a little bit less of a like bombshell. I don't know if bombshell is the right word, but the fact that she only has like kind of magic damage like reactions besides like slow counter is kind of like meh to me. But it's really nice that she gets uh like basically a magic guard reaction. Like so when you need it, it's nice to have it, but like I feel like she's kind of a little bit more vulnerable to like physical attacks because of that.
Right.
She has mind over magic. That's the magic guard that I was talking about. It's basically magic guard, 20% chance to counter magic damage and reducing it by 45%. Magic commutation, like it's not even like the normal commutation where like any damage that you take you get like AP back. It's only for magic damage. So but it's got the same rate as like Aeon Bond, which is like the one like 30% reaction that we always like refer to, like because we just see it so often.
Yeah, one of
But
my guildies had it happen 4 times in a row in guild battles yesterday.
oh god.
Yep,
So
against him.
honestly, I'm kind of at a loss at which to pick. I think it kind of depends on one, how quickly she's going to be using her AP. Whether you would use magic commutation over mind over magic. Two, like what teams you're facing. Like if you're going to be facing a lot of magic teams. And three, like whether like you want to use slow counter because, like I said, like when slow actually procs, it's like thank God that didn't happen to me. So,
Right.
like slow counter is almost always useful. The fact that it's a 50% chance to counter, and a 50% base chance to inflict slow for 3 turns. I think it's always going to be relevant for a reaction pick. Before I get into her X buffs, the apothecary main job skills that she gets, we get like I don't know if we see all of like the job 12 skills or whatever. Sometimes we get like what was that? I think it's the blade soul, like the magic barrier, where it's like, holy shit, where did this
Hmm.
come from? No, no, it was Kododama wielder. Like they
Yeah.
get like the magic barrier, and we're like, whoa, I didn't know that job came with that. So, anyways, we'll see we'll see if any other apothecary units have like different like different skills. But for the first apothecary, there's vitiation is and good health are the two skills that she starts with. Vitiation is a weird, I don't know that word, but it's basically like a poison applier. It's kind of minimal or small. No, it's small damage. Base 25% chance to inflict poison, which does 10% HP for 3 turns.
It is a weaker poison.
Yeah. Generally, and normally you see poison do 15% HP. So, but I'm more than happy to trade off that extra 5% to apply it more often because of her passive.
Right.
Um, it's got an interesting range. It's range 4. It's a range height 1. 6 cast. That's a basic bread and butter like skill you're going to be relying on at low AP. 14 AP. It's not bad. It's not 10 AP, but I mean it's still pretty low. Um, Good health is interesting. It's her base buff basically. The fact that she can increase spirit for 3 turns for her allies in across AOE, that's really nice, especially since it's 3 casts at 28 TP. But giving a regen buff as well, it's really helpful going against magic teams. So I like the theme of the apothecary kind of being like a support carry kind of against like magic teams, especially when they're so relevant nowadays with
Mhm.
like Elena, Jaden, Black Rose Helena, etc. Um, Life of Longevity is
Wait,
basically
real quick. Wait, you're
her
not doing the X
re-raise.
upgrades?
No, not yet. So,
Okay, sure.
we're still just going over like apothecary stuff. So,
Okay.
like, Life of Longevity, I can expect like every apothecary job to get this. Is at job 7. They have it's basically a re-raise, but it's not just re-raise. You're giving yourself magic buff and accuracy buff and healing power. And it's hard to tell. I can't I actually had the game up. I swear it's for 3 turns because that's generally how many turns it is. Um, I left the game up, but my phone went on yeah, it's gone. Anyways, so I'm pretty sure it's 3 turns, but it's only one cast. 32 TP is nice for building that AP. But the fact that you only get one re-raise is it's obviously like that's how many you normally get. So that's something to keep in mind. But so you might have to like consider when you want to use this, depending on like how long like the magic accuracy and healing buff lasts. It may not be like your first pick, depending on like when you want to use it and like what team you're up against. Soul Sedation is the other job 7 skill. It's a 200 damage mod, so it's that jamming thrust mod. It's her kind of sleep applier. It's 25 base chance to inflict sleep. But it's interesting how the soul sedation has an increased chance to apply sleep as long as there's like you have regen. I think it's regen on yourself, but it could be on the target. But auto like restore AP on the target. So like if there's like 3 or 4. Actually, there's 4 different abilities that or TMRs that give you AP restore nowadays. So it's and people use that like it's basically it's pretty common to run up against at least one unit on the opponent's team that has AP refresh at some point. So the fact that it increases the base chance from 25 to 45 on like before like on top of the fact that her passive increases by 15, you're basically looking at a 60% base chance to sleep, and that's basically an LB base chance.
Yup.
So, like, I mean, like, if you don't have Summer Catone, you may not be aware, but like her LB has a 67% base chance to inflict sleep. Obviously, that's in an AOE, so Soul Sedation is a single
Wait,
target.
isn't it silence? Or I'll be
But
silence.
Summer Catone is,
Oh, summer can tell. Oh, sorry. I
yeah,
missed. For some reason, I thought you said. Okay, my bad. I
no,
missed
it's
that
all right.
part. I was like,
Um,
what?
so the range could be a little bit more for how, but honestly, like it's a really nice like utility. Like you're gonna fuck with your opponent's team. So the fact that it's 3 range and range height 1, I think helps limit how crazy it is, and the fact that it's not AOE. It would be way more of a problem if it was like longer range or if it was an AOE like a cross AOE effect. So. Um, and it's not that expensive at 28 AP. That's kind of like a middling range. Anything under 20 is kind of like cheap, and anything over 30 is like expensive. Um, and obviously LBs in like 60 range or whatever, those are expensive too. So her job 12 skill, divine toxicology. Wow. So, medium damage, 165 mod, but the fact that this is the 25% base chance to inflict poison, that also does so much more. It breaks defense and spirit by 30, as well as healing power by 50. So it's not it kind of reminds me of like Kane's like Dragon Raid. Like that was the first skill that we saw that decreased healing power. This is like that times like an order of magnitude more, or two, like one or two at least. But the fact that it's defense and spirit break as well as the healing power down, on top of the poison, like this is, to me, this is what you want to be using against like the Engelberts and like the
Yeah,
Elenas,
yep.
and like this is the skill that you're looking to use to apply poison to get past like the immortal spirit, but also to break the defenses of your target. The fact that it's an AoE at such a long range, you can basically apply it up to 5 squares away. So its range is 4 within the cross AoE. Range height 1, AoE height 1, but it's 3 casts, and it's still at a middle, like it's 26 AP. It's actually it's cheaper than Soul Sedation, like the crazy like sleep ability. So I mean, yeah, so you're probably, when you see More the Merrier on the opponent's team, like you're gonna expect to be hit by this. So you have to take that into account. Whether you can, like Goldbez, for instance, has like um, one of his skills makes him immune to breaks, basically, or imperils, I think. So like it's gonna be nice to counter her with him. Like you don't have to worry about like the breaks or anything. I think the healing power will still come into effect, but what you're gonna have to worry about is like the poison and sleep. So hopefully you have a way to counter those, or have just like innate resistance. So yeah, this is obviously, it's a big problem to have to deal with. So it's definitely something we're gonna take more into account. Like it's, especially in the live PvP mode, like we're always looking for jobs that kind of change the landscape of the mode. And I
Yeah.
feel like this is something that everybody's going to have to get used to. So just on that note alone, this character is notable. Um, her main sub job skills: hypodermic surge at job level 3. It's a missile attack, piercing, that inflicts poison for 3 turns. The fact that it's 20% poison is interesting. It's a kind of a uh, part of the rationality for picking like your main sub job versus like Rune Knight or Time Mage, is like, how, like what am I compromising here? So it looks like it's 20% HP damage, which is, it's not really the 25% that we see like Venera's LB,
Hmm.
but it's still, I mean, 20% HP damage for 3 turns.
It's
That's
so
60%.
weird to have it so clearly notated differently, though. Like,
Yeah, it is
is
weird.
there any chance that this is like it increases the poison damage you do with your poison? Like, the poison you've already applied now gets buffed for 3 turns or something? Like, I feel like it's such a strange spot for there to be
It
a
is,
typo
yeah.
on War of the Visions calc. I don't know. I can actually look at it in game though. I do have it up. It says own
Nice.
poison. It says it increases activation rate. So,
Oh.
oh yeah, yeah, okay, that's what it was. That's what it was. It increases your chance, so you have a extra 20% chance of poison for 3 turns.
Dude, okay, so hypodermic surge makes much more sense now.
Yeah,
Hypodermic is like below the surface of the skin, and the fact
right.
that it's a surge, like it makes her more vulnerable. It makes the target more vulnerable to poison. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I really wish that my phone didn't go to sleep so that I
Yeah,
could
I'll read the
check
description.
that.
It says deals damage to target based on caster's magic stat and piercing, so it goes through units, which is
Yeah.
dope. And it's a missile damage. Let's not forget that either. It's not magic; it is missile.
Yeah.
And raises own poison activation rate is what it says. So
Yeah, there it goes. Okay. Yeah, so I got it pulled up now. I think we actually skipped over the part where like we pulled or not. So like I assume we both pulled for her and got her. Do you want to
no,
talk about that?
I'm totally not looking at her ability board right now on
Do
my
you have a
lovely unit
story to
page.
tell?
It wasn't easy. So Goldbez was like a gift. First pull banner, got him done. Like I was just
Nice.
easy. However, they got me with more. I
Um,
got the 40 pack. the paid thing, so you get the 6K plus 4K. I did 2 laps on the paid thing where you get like the 2K, then 1.5, then 1. The value on that's just pretty high if you're willing to like dump Viz anyway. I did the 9 step, nothing. But I needed enough paid to do the very last step of the second lap on that paid step up thing. So I got the pack that gives you like the 1 10 times ticket and like 100 over shards, that whole thing. And that 10 times ticket got me more. So that like first pull on the actual banner got me more after I'd already done the step up and everything else. So I definitely dumped some into it, but I'll have a lot of shards from all those medals and stuff, and not gonna complain too much. I've gotten really lucky recently when I really wanted a unit. So if I have to not have the best time once, that's okay.
For me, I got lucky as well, which feels really nice because most of my resources recently, like I was lucky with Goldbez as well, I think, but I spent a lot on Rosa, and it really felt bad. But I finally have Rosa, so I can't complain about ice teams anymore. I think I already talked about this like last week or something, but I spent like way more than I had really been comfortable with on her. But I felt like she was worth it. So I generally go up to step 3 on like the 9 step
Hmm.
because I like having the Awakening Prism like tickets. I those are almost always useful. I'm actually considering going to step 4 nowadays because I'm kind of running out of the the rocks.
Fragments,
Yeah, the
the
fragments.
rocks,
Fucking
the
rocks.
shiny
Um,
rocks.
shiny. I got her on step 3. I got her on the free pull. So I
Nice.
was super happy. I wasn't expecting it. Never have any luck on the 9 steps, but I almost always go to step 3, just for like the Awakening Prism. It's worth the 4K, Visior in
Sure.
my opinion, and for the chance uh, to get the banner unit. So I'm surprised and gratified that I got her on the free pulse or the step 3. So it's really nice to have her. I feel like I would regret like not getting her. Especially like I really like win teams. So um gonna have to play around with her and see how much I like her because like at first I was like, I'm trying to figure out like what kind of place she would have on the win team or on any team, honestly. Because like we were talking about before, I think it was last week, like we might have to look at returning to like rainbow teams as people call it, like not mono element teams, but like different
Right.
teams of different elements. So um
Actually, I on that note, since it's super relevant to what you just said, Golbez is a unit I've been kind of trying to figure out how to really
yeah,
extract value out of. Because he has a couple issues, and I think we mentioned him on the podcast where we did talk about him, where he has powerful effects, but he is balanced around having like one damage type. His accuracy isn't amazing. He doesn't have a sure
yeah,
hit, but he has some really cool aspects to his kit. He actually synergizes really well with her because he gets
I agree.
bonuses based on effects like poison, sleep, things like that on the opponents. So maybe not poison, but at least sleep. So they could potentially be an interesting mixed team, and he can hold something like the Black Rose Helena card. So everybody gets the agility, he gets the extra, I believe it's accuracy, right, on that card for the
Yeah,
dark
yeah,
party
yeah, like
effect,
10 or something.
which helps with his weakness. But then she gets the benefit from the agility. Like so, there's some interesting weaving you can do with the vision cards there, and then like maybe there's a third, maybe that's a double quicken team. So I can either single quicken her to get some status combos off, or I can double quicken Golbez based on the situation, or just go in like Bruisery and maybe have a third unit that can kind of just like buff them up and like be a frontliner to have their magic supported. But that was one exciting bit for her that kind of really pushed me over the edge into dumping
Yeah,
resources into her.
yeah. So thankfully you got her. Um, okay, so anyways, back to her skills.
Sorry.
Um, so hypodermic surge, that makes a lot more sense. Like increasing the chance to inflict poison. That's kind of it's unfortunate that it's on her main sub job because like you're probably not going to be running her main sub job because of her other jobs.
Hmm.
Um, so like you're you're not going to have as high of a chance to poison your target as you have the chance to sleep unless they have like a vulnerability to it, like from like the light ring or something,
Sure.
or uh, they have like more of a chance to resist sleep, like if they have any resistance to sleep or something. So, it would be nice to see this on like her main job skills, and just to have that option. We're probably not going to see this used that much, as well as hyperesthesia, which is on first glance, like I've never seen this like medical term before, but it looks like hype the hypoesthesia. So this is the medical term for basically paralyzation. Like
Sure.
I looked it up
It's
because I
the
saw it.
opposite
I
of
was like,
anesthesia, man. It's
yeah,
the
basically.
anesthesia that gets you
You get
hype.
So anyway, obviously the skill, it's a base 25% chance to inflict paralyze. Um, Also kind of unfortunate that her passive doesn't increase paralyze base chance, but like take what we can get, right? Um, so it's when paralyze actually like procs and actually works, 80% chance of paralysis. It's obviously nice, but so the fact that like even if you, well, no, you have to paralyze. No, you don't have to paralyze. Let me look at it. An additional, so the agi break only takes effect when it's paralyzed, when your
Right.
target is paralyzed. So I didn't believe that at first, but yeah, I just assumed it was part of the wording or whatever. But yeah, the agi break only takes effect if the base 25% chance to paralyze actually procs. So you're not really missing out on too much. It is a 3 cast ability for 24 TP and across AoE with a pretty decent range. It's basically the same range as Divine Toxicology, same range height, same AoE height. Range 4, range and AoE height of 1. So it's an interesting pick, like especially if you can um, like rely on somebody else on the team to paralyze, like Skull's LB, for instance. Even though I think that's a base 25% chance too, which is lame. I don't know, but like if you're playing around with paralyze or whatever, you have like two-headed dragon, like evocation or something. Um, Being able to have an agi break is nice. But yeah, you're probably not going to be seeing her more the merrier on her main sub job. So moving on to Rune Knight and Time Age. Rune Knight is notable because it has, like we said before, Drain Evocation and Eroga Blade and Arrow Blade. But there's no like magic barrier or anything like that. Windbreak Rune you're probably not going to see used unless it's in a PvE environment. Hazard spell, same deal. Um, I don't expect the Rune Knight sub job to be used as much as the Time Mage sub job. As far as Time Mage skills that she gets pretty much all that you want. She's missing Meteor, but you have haste, you have quicken, you have transpo. That's all I'm looking for. So Time Mage is probably the sub job that she's going to have on the most.
I love that transpo is now like a thing everyone accepts as like usable. I remember there used to be
That's always been a pick for
so
me.
many arguments in like the PvP Discord, like transpo's never the right play. Like there's always something you can do that's better than transpo. I'm like, nah, man. There's so many uses for it. It's so sweet.
Yeah, I always look for the transpo play, honestly. So last but not least, before we get into her X upgrades, her limit burst is Festival of Flying Fortunes, and I don't know about you, but I really enjoyed the cinematic for it. Um,
No,
it
the animation's great.
yeah, animation cinematic. So
Yeah,
it's a
it's fun.
it's a 200 damage mod. So it's basically, I don't know why I always use jamming thrust as like the baseline or whatever, but 200 damage mod, 67% chance to inflict silence. I think that must have been what you were talking about, the whole
Yeah,
silence
that's yeah. When you
silence
said
mod.
her LB and like my brain was like, wait, no, her LB does
Gotcha.
silent. Yeah, yeah.
So as long as you can inflict silence on your targets and that cross AoE range, you can decrease AoE res by 30 at max level. So I honestly really like this LB, not just for the fact that it's the base chance that we expect from an LB. It's that 67% chance, but the fact that it also includes that AoE like imperil. Um, that's not really something that you would expect to see from an LB like this with that base chance to inflict the status ailment. So yeah, that's crazy. It's a range of 3 and across AoE, like I said, range in AoE height of 1. It's a little expensive at 58 AP, but thankfully it's not like 60 or higher. Like it could be a little bit less, but I still like to see it. I think the main problem you're going to run into with her LB, besides like those that have like an innate resistance to silence, is people using Soul of Tommaso, like I was talking about, like on her Divine Toxicology skill. Um, oh wait, Divine Toxicology was sleep, but for this, like having an easily accessible item by now, just to be able to give any unit like a higher chance to resist silence, really has an impact on her LB's usefulness. So I'm not sure how often we're going to see Soul of Tomasa used on her targets, more than like any of the other awesome uh, pieces of armor or cloth or whatever that we've gotten recently. But depending on how often she gets used, you might see that gear shift to that to be able to counter her. Because it's annoying being silenced, especially when all of your
Sure is.
skills are magic based. Like all of her skills are magic based, even the missile, the hypodermic surge. So like she's going to be totally shut down, except for possibly like her magic commutation reaction is still going to be able to be used, but
I
unless
wonder if she can still basic attack. Because the basic attack has the magic symbol. It's the like missile ranged auto attack that the glove users get. So it's a magic scaling basic attack that does
missile
missile
attack,
damage
yeah,
from a 3 range. So it's kind of like, I mean, Salier has a, or Valentine Salier has the same kind of deal, Garble. But I wonder if you can't use it while silenced because it has that symbol, because that's kind of
yeah.
how you differentiate. Things don't have to necessarily scale off magic damage, they just have to be magic based, which, so like even
She
TP skills you can't use.
I can
So
put your fears to rest,
yeah.
from using Kill Fey and getting silence in the past. You can still basic attack.
Okay. Yeah, because Killfay has kind of a magic-y
Yeah, Kill Fey was
thing
the
to it.
first unit to get a magic based basic attack. And getting silence with her sucked, but I could still stat bash or whatever. So the fact that
That's
she
fair.
has like a ranged basic attack, is interesting. That was one of the last things I noticed actually. I actually forgot to mention that her vitiation, like her base skill, is a missile attack. Um, I don't know why I missed that.
Oh, that is true. I actually didn't notice that either. Oh
Yeah.
shit. I thought it was
So
just her
she,
sub job.
like, yeah, yeah, exactly. So she doesn't have only like Rune Knight to rely on for a different attack. She can still do like either like I mean it's not the best damage, but I mean it's a base chance to apply. It has a chance to apply poison, and like if your opponents are stacking a lot of magic resistance, then yeah, it's something to be able to do at least something. Anyways, so let's jump into our X upgrades before we spend too long on this unit because I know we have a couple other things to cover. So her like skill upgrades are on her life of longevity and good health skills. So she doesn't get like a passive upgrade or reaction upgrade or anything. Thank God, because I think they're. I mean, maybe she could use a reaction like upgrade, but going to her skill, the first one is good health, the one that she increases spirit and regen for her allies. It's good health and happiness now. And boy, is it so much more useful. It still has the same amount of casts. It's 3 casts, 28 TP, across the AoE centered on herself, but it's not just spirit 20, but defense 20 for 3 turns on her allies, as well as herself, obviously. And regen on herself for 20% HP, which is
Oh, I didn't
crazy.
notice it was 20%. Oh
It's
shit.
double the normal amount of regen. So,
Ooh, that's
I mean,
crazy. I did not notice that.
yeah, so it's unfortunate that it's only
Oh
for
wow.
herself. So like you have to like take into account her base HP, but yeah, 20% and like double the normal regen. It's really interesting. Like I think it definitely fits into the theme of like the apothecary, like applying status effects and increasing like healing power and stuff like that. Like she doesn't have like a direct heal, but like the healing power from the next skill that she gets upgraded, Life of Longevity, I think it affects regen as well. So,
Okay.
but I haven't had the chance to test that, and I haven't really had any. need to test that. And like
Right.
Engelbert's like 120, like his X upgrades include like a healing power upgrade to his passive, but like I just haven't had the opportunity to test healing power increases with like regen, which is solely based on like HP and I think faith as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing just how much HP that she can regen. I just wish that it was for everyone because holy shit, that would be amazing. Like, because I'll get into the like what she'll have on a team like a little bit later. I want to address like some things, but the fact that like it's still a 20% tick per turn is nice. Her other upgrade, Life of Longevity. Gets upgraded to Life of Longevity and Prosperity. Basically, the only change that you see here is that it's two casts, but you have two re-raises, like in
Yeah.
a single. Like if you have the chance to use both of them, like fucking use it, right? So the fact that like I like how it added the prosperity. So like live long and prosper.
Right, right. That's exactly what that. I mean, that's basically
uh,
what that ability is now.
well, the fact that it increases the cast by from 1 to 2, I don't have any complaints about this. It's already an amazing skill. The buffs, the re-raise, having the chance to do it twice. The first thing I think of is like Engelbert's like using his immortal spirit twice. That's honestly like if you need any kind of uh, similar like situation, just think of how annoying Engelbert is, like applying courage twice.
Yep.
So like you don't like she's not as squishy as you might expect. The only problem that you have to run into is like either re-raise nullified situations or abilities that remove re-raise. So
Right.
you got to be careful for that.
Right, like
So
diversifying into like one re-raise, one immortal spirit, like Zazan. At least you ask your opponent the question,
yeah,
like, can you deal with both? Whereas if they have the answer for re-raise, yeah, I guess it kind of sucks that they can get you both times, but um, it's
I'm
still
just
really good.
I'm just waiting for the TMR that applies courage. Like we already have like Halloween Ryu's TMR with the re-raise on the TMR. So last but not least, her job 25 skill is Meridian Channel, and I actually wish this was Viridian because like it's green, it's wind.
But do you
Uh,
know the Meridian reference?
I don't. Meridian is like to me like it involves like the global like longitude, latitude kind of thing.
So the other meaning is it's the
It's like
pathways through the
winds.
body that your chi passes through.
Oh no shit,
Yeah, so like your meridians are, yeah, they're the pathways for your chi or your energy in
dude.
traditional Asian medicine. So
That
um
is really cool. Thanks for
yeah.
that.
So I actually had to look it up earlier because my girlfriend was like, I was like saying something out loud and she's like meridian. She's like, oh, like this. I'm like, no, it's like that. And and
Nice.
she had the longitude one, but
MVP.
yeah, right. And yeah, so it's kind of a nice, it goes with the apothecary theme of kind of,
Yeah.
you're
And
channeling your meridians to get this like
y
awesome power, like,
yeah,
and opening up your AP or your chi, your
yeah.
energy.
So, remember how I was talking about, like, I wonder what, like, kinda AP, like, drain issues she's gonna have to worry about? Her job 25 skill is one of the best job 25 skills I've seen in the game so far. The fact that it's 22 AP, you have 3 casts on it. It's a range of 4, range height of 1, so it's kind of like a little mini jamming thrust at 165 damage mod and range height of 1. But at Spirit Pen 40, so like if you happen to be running Sharpbind, that's 80 Spirit Pen for this attack.
Sure
Um,
is.
and it grants you AP refresh of 15% of your AP total for 3 turns. So it's like you don't even need to use an AP refresh TMR on her if you were even considering that. Like she's basically not going to have to worry about AP issues as long as she can use this on a target.
Yep.
So that's awesome, especially like as a high faith like unit, like you can expect um, there to be like she I don't actually, now that I consider it, I don't know why I'm saying that. Do we see different AP totals on different types of units, or is it
I
like
do.
average?
Well, I mean, actually, we can
Because I
solve that
feel
real quick
like
on the index.
casters have more AP totals than like
I
uh
believe that's correct.
attackers.
So if I go down the list of like, if I sort by highest AP in the game, and this is after like other bonuses, but whatever.
Yeah.
The first unit I see that is not like a magic based caster mage, whatever term you want to use, is like maybe Gilgamesh, even though he kind of is a
Yeah.
caster, and he's number 23.
Okay, wow. Yeah, like first, it feels like that's one of those tacit understanding things about the game that you don't really question, you just like pick up,
The next
like
one's Mont, like King Mont, and he's 30th.
wow. Okay, that's
Other than that,
interesting.
it's like above them. Like number one is actually Valentine Solir.
Oh, I thought it
By
was gonna be
actually a
Yuna.
significant amount. Yuna's number 5. So yeah, it's like
Okay,
Valentine Solir, Black Rose Helena, Ayaka, Minwu, Yuna, Moore,
okay,
Glaciella Regalia,
and
Gargus,
Gargus.
Summer Katone, Ibarra, etc.
Interesting. Okay,
So they do
so
have more
yeah,
AP.
definitely able to leverage the auto refresh better than somebody using like Emberlight Vitality, like Lucio's TMR. So yeah, uh, that's it's amazing. So I'm trying to figure out because I haven't really been had the chance to play around with her yet. I literally just pulled her like a few hours ago. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. And yeah, let us know in the comments if you guys have anything you want to add about her. But I'm pretty much done talking about her. Do you have anything you want to mention?
Quick quiz: who has the most TP in the game?
Most TP. Is it including like
Including
passives that
everything.
increase TP?
It's on
I
the
would say
index.
I would say Yuna, like because she has that
She's number 2.
number two. Oh god, she has that passive that increases TP. I can't. It's like T
Yeah.
banquet.
So ready. So she's number 2 with 250.
Okay,
Second or third place
Ayaka.
is third place is Minwoo with 237. Ayaka is fourth place with
Okay,
235. First place is 288.
what?
Significantly higher than all of
Wait,
them.
is it a lower rarity unit that has like an awesome mastery?
Maybe.
Is it? It's not Mish. Oh god, who is it? Valade? I can't
It's
think of who it
it,
is,
it's
but
it's Vlade. Yeah, Vlade has an absurd TP pool.
yeah, I remember, like, I remember thinking, like, back in the day, like, looking at all these different
It's
mastery
like
abilities, like,
30% or
dude,
something.
what the
It's
fuck am I
huge.
gonna need this for? He's never gonna run out.
Right. Oh, he does have really expensive buffs now. But anyway,
Can't believe I
thoughts
called it.
about more. Yeah, right. Thoughts about more though. Yeah, I mean, pretty much covered everything. I didn't really have many notes. I guess just like reiterating that life of longevity, like the magic and accuracy and healing power and all that, you have to actively have re-raise on you. So like if you cast a re-raise and then you die re-raise, like you don't have those buffs anymore. So just
Oh,
remembering that.
so it's not a certain amount of turns. It's as long as you have re-raise on.
Yes.
Holy shit,
Well,
dude!
it might be here. Let me see in the game if it does that for 3
Yeah,
turns or
my
not. But
phone went deep again.
it is contingent upon you having re-raise active.
That is crazy. Oh, that sounded really
Sorry,
nice.
that's life longevity. Where
It's off to
is
the right, I
Yep.
think.
So yeah, it says re-raise allows unit to go to raise, obviously.
While
And it
re-raise is in
says
effect.
yeah. So it doesn't say turns. So I don't like it doesn't say there's a limit. Definitely something to test. I probably will try to test that tonight because I just have to know.
Dude,
Um
3 re-raises. Or 4, depending on if you have Yuna on the team.
Yuna or Aerith too can do it, right?
Oh god.
And Aerith
It's
also
another
has Quicken.
damage.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's some interesting team comps you can do with this unit. Like it's gonna be fun. I do think that she is a very good contender for mixed teams because of her versatility. Oh, the one note I wanted to make is regarding sleep. If nobody, so sleep, I feel like you don't see very often.
yeah,
So
it's true.
unless you've actually tested with it or casted it in live
Yeah,
PvP and really paid attention, you might not know this. It gives you a massive
damage buff.
incoming damage like
Yeah.
debuff.
Yeah, we've
Is it
covered that before.
50%?
Yeah, it's one of those that increases, uh, damage.
So you are more
Like
vulnerable while
toad.
asleep, and you also can't evade. So
It's like you've toted your target.
exactly. So it's a very very strong status,
Yeah.
and don't sleep on it. In
Uh,
comparison to the other
oops.
statuses you can do. But all right,
That's
yeah,
the show.
yeah, right. So ending on that, I guess we do have the VC and weapon real quick to kind of cover along with her. I know we've been going for a while, so let's try to get through
Yeah.
these. But Fervor of the Festival gives you 322 HP, 155 magic, 62 dex. We just talked earlier about how 50 dex was pretty high on a VC. This is 62. She has a giant accuracy theme for sure in her kit on this card. For wind units in general, there's an accuracy of 23 on bestow, and I think I added this correctly this time. And then she herself gets decreased AP consumption. So in addition to her AP regen, she also has this 20 percent decreased AP consumption. So very good bestows there. Party effect
Really
wise,
not struggling with AP costs.
no, not really at all. Even if she doesn't use TP skills, yeah, it's very self sustaining. Party effects, human killer up to 25, but specifically for magic attacks. And then HP percent by 13. It's kind of like the secondary, as we call it, like
Hybrid,
party
yeah.
effects. And then the max effect is Earth Resist 20.
Uh,
Kinda meh. Like I always hate these. Like you have a decent card going, and they add these. Win more. Like you're already
yeah,
good against this. Like give it
yeah.
ice resist. If this was ice resist 20, it's much more attractive. But
Yeah, it's literally like one of the best vision cards with ice resistance 20.
I actually feel that this card is a hit or miss. Like I wouldn't mind owning it, but I also think that like even just Typhon, the vision card would be good for her because it still gives accuracy, gives magic percent on bestow, and it also has luck instead of dex, right? So
Yeah,
it it's a comparable VC. How do you
yeah.
feel kind of as I'll call you the wind guru for the podcast
The Wind Guru.
here.
I feel like somebody else goes by that.
Garuda?
Garuda.
The wind
Gerudo Valley.
the wind yeah, right. I
No,
was thinking
somebody.
more
I
of
think I
Garuda, the
feel like
wind
somebody
bird guy.
goes by the Wind Guru. Anyways, I think the most notable thing about this is that it's not limited. The fact that more is
Oh,
limited,
true. Okay.
but Fervor of the Festival is not limited, and it's cost 70.
I did not catch that.
Yeah, so I'm thankful for that. I don't know if they missed that or if it's like an error in What If Dash Calc, but as far as I can tell, it's not limited, and that's awesome because that means I don't have to go ham on it. I can eventually grab it and like build it, and I mean it's nice to have, especially for the bestowed effect. It's like one of the best bestowed effects that I've seen in my opinion. The fact that AP consumption goes down with her specifically, but it's a greater accuracy buff than like Tetrasilphid, for instance, which I think is like 10, maybe 15.
Hmm. I think it's
So
10.
it's really helpful. The fact that you can put this on like Halloween Little Lita and still be able to benefit from the magic stat, the dex, and the bestowed accuracy. That's really helpful. You're probably only going to be using it when you have enough magic units on your team on your win team. So like I don't know if you're going to use Gargus really, but it's really like More the Merrier and Halloween Little Lita, unless you're using like Helena for like a double quicken team or something.
And shit,
Um,
Tetra is 15 on bestow.
15,
Damn,
okay, yeah, I
I was
use it
wrong.
so often on like Corewell, for instance. Yeah, Earth Res 20 is really like I wish that
Very
they would have
medium.
put something else on there. It really lowers the what's the like people make tier lists or whatever. It really drops it like a rank or two,
Sure.
just simply because of that. Like so much more useful if it's ice res.
And,
Anyways,
and
so
hey, I
the
mean, real quick, Howlet and Varouche do exist. So like
yeah
those are some magic units, right?
yeah yeah,
You can
that's
make some
true.
teams out of them.
Um, I'm looking forward to 120 Howlet, like whenever that happens. But I haven't really had much chance to play around Varouche, and I feel bad about that because I do enjoy me some win teams. It's just this the Joom Halloween Little Leela like Winter Loartha team has just been carrying so hard for me,
Sure.
and it's like just trying to figure out who to replace on there with More the Merrier is like it's giving me anxiety. So the whole like magic man killer party effect, it's really nice. It really rounds out the magic wins vision card thing. We just need like a straight magic 50% wins vision card.
Mhm.
Hopefully we'll see that eventually because like we have wind and magic units that can really make use of it. But honestly, like the increased the hybrid HP up, like you're already going to see that with Winter Luartha's vision card. So like if you have if you're using Winter Loartha, which you probably will be as long as you have her, and you have that vision card, like it's the overlap is kind of unfortunate, and we see that overlap I think on like an Earth team with like two Earth vision cards. Um, maybe I'm thinking of like fire or something. I don't know, but the between like the Earth Res 20 and the hybrid HP, and that overlap, I feel like you can just use blossoms in the dark, which is part. Um, it's not limited to wind units. It's just everyone in the party gets the same amount. It gets 25 magic human killer.
Oh
And
yeah, okay. I was like, which card is that? Yeah, okay, I just looked up. Yep.
yeah, and it's that is a really good card to use when you need to stack like magic damage. So like or really like this is a nice pick, but it's not like priority. So like I'm really glad that they didn't make it limited, which is why I said that's the most notable thing about it.
It would have to be in the party because it looks like she wouldn't get the like bestowed effects and stuff. But because I guess they're limited to staff users. That's weird. I forgot about that. A stupid card.
Yeah.
So dumb. But by the way, I'm not gonna let it go. I was hoping there'd be a pause earlier. I was gonna say it. And I'm just gonna set myself up though because I think it's funny when you said you don't know who to replace on a team. I'm like, man, if only we could use 4 units because as they say, the more the merrier. But anyway, so I think we're done with the VC. Real quick, easy mode here. The pious gloves.
Killing me.
Yeah, right. They are the Wind 45 mod glove. So I think this is the first glove we've seen with this kind of mod.
Yeah,
It's a very
any mod,
niche
yeah.
weapon. We get 15 magic attack and 30 wind. Obviously amazing for her. I don't think there's a single other unit that really wants it because the magic is lower on the magic version. Aim's not bad with 16 accuracy, but still not great. But yeah, build yourself a magic version, slap it on her, and you're done. I don't think that you need more than one right now. Very unlikely that you'll need one soon, I would think. So, yeah, one and done item, not too stressful. Do you have any thoughts? Somehow a reason to get aim or critical?
Yeah, I'm actually really happy with these elemental like weapons. Like you can actually make use of like the wind attack buff to actually like replace like the magic version with the crit version and like I hesitate to say this, but the aim version,
13
because of
crit.
I mean, yeah. So like, I would rather go crit than aim because like 8 accuracy. I mean, it's half of the 16 from aim, but like the 13 crit rate is really nice. Um, so like the fact that you're missing out on only like 28 magic, it's really only 28 magic, and the fact that like More the Merrier has such a high base magic chance. I said I'd go back to that, but I said that a few times. So like her base magic is like 400, which I think it's really close to like what Howlett's was like back in the day. We were like, oh, Howlett has the highest base magic chance in the game right now, and then Halloween Little Leela and
Where
Halloween
does she
Laddie.
get the rest of her magic from?
She her X upgrade brings it up to like 540 or 550 or something like that, which is crazy.
With
And I
everything
think that
accounted for, she's a 5 to 67.
yeah, so that's just super
It's
high. So like the
pretty
fact that she
sizable.
misses out on like 28 magic, I don't think that's that big of a deal. So I
Yeah.
actually I'm tempted to make two and test which is more useful. I like seeing the fact that it's I mean, it could be a higher crit rate. I think that like the base stats that like the types are based off of could be a little higher. But it's 30 wind attack and 15 magic attack, so like I can't really complain.
It's
The
funny. I actually could see myself now that you're talking more, and I'm regretting what I said earlier, trying to boil
Yeah,
it
no,
down.
it's all
I
right.
could maybe see doing the aim version because she is so accuracy based. Like,
Yeah,
just push her over that edge, and it is
exactly.
only 42 magic.
Yeah,
So I made the same argument earlier
only
about the
42.
Mythgraven blade, right? Like going from assault to magic was only like plus 40, and I'm like, I don't care
Yeah,
about that.
yeah.
So
We're seeing more and more that like as the base stats of the game rise.
more and more. Oh my god.
So like we have more of an option
Yeah.
to pick like the different types, especially on elemental specific weapons like this.
A lot of
If
times, sorry.
it was something stupid like just magic attack, then I'd be like, eh. But the fact that like the wind attack 30 is compensating for like the less magic, and the fact that the magic is only that much less, I think it's more useful to see you like land an attack with a higher accuracy or like you
Right.
landing the crit. So for
Well,
like the 25% extra damage.
Also, the wind attack helps for like she has missile attacks. Like her main little spammy
Yeah,
ability is missile damage. So the 15 magic wouldn't help there. And
yeah.
also, she's not going to be a unit I think that needs bells ever because she has
No,
that
yeah.
job 25 skill. So I don't think unless you're really meaning to, she's not going to end up with just random accuracy at like 14 or 15 on the gear that I could imagine her using. So
Yeah.
actually, the 16 accuracy here would be significant. Um, so I guess fuck me. All right, I guess maybe I'll build an
So
aim one,
well, yeah, so, like,
but
this is exactly the kind of thing that we're doing this for, is to get people to consider, other options or, like, other, like, approaches to things. So I think we're doing that right now. If, like, you being able to change your mind like that, I think is as an indicator for maybe other people, can consider the same thing.
yeah, absolutely.
Does that do us for
Uh,
today?
I think I am good. Are you? I don't have any more thoughts. I think we've. There's
I
probably something I forgot, but I mean, there's so much to go over with
Yeah.
her kit. Like, it's such a. She's one of these units that she does a lot of things we haven't seen before, and that's really what drew me to her. Like, we talk about where units come out and it's like, okay, it's like this unit, but they have this ability, so it's like a
Yeah.
little bit of an upgrade and it feels nice. But she's so different in a
Yeah.
lot of ways that very, very attractive pull, and the things that she does that haven't been done before could actually potentially either change the meta a little bit, like because the status effects can be huge, or at least it gives a lot of like ideas and things to play with. So it's just
Yeah.
all around a great thing for any theory crafter. I think she'll be amazing live PvP, whether it be Quicken or not. The only thing I'm worried about is like if she's frail because she doesn't have any sort of built-in barriers, but that's what
Yeah.
TMRs are for. So
Yeah.
excited to work with her for sure. And not being able to get charmed is nice, so I can just kind of like, oh, I'm not gonna get cheesed by like a
Yeah.
Zazan or something.
Yeah, she does have that defense and spirit buff, the life of longevity and prosperity. I really like the fact that she has an AoE defense buff or like defensive buff,
Hmm.
to be able to like, in terms of at least like auto stuff, being able to draw her into the rest of the team, but also like Joom is going to be like her best friend.
Yeah.
She's going to be like soaking up attacks while she's going to like while Moore is going to be applying more and more. She's doing what she does best. So I'm really looking forward to
Stop it!
that
Stop
interaction.
saying more and more.
So the one thing I regret, as we're kind of running out of time here, is that we didn't have much chance to really think about her use in a more of a live PvP perspective. Like what teams that she can really work on or work out best with. Like for instance, like even like non actually more so than like mono wins, like non like win teams, like you mentioned Goldbez, like that's one of the standout picks that I feel like most of us have kind of considered, or maybe not, but like maybe you should. Um, I guess I'm looking forward to in the future, like as we use her more and more, seeing how useful she is, and like different variations of team comps. We'll have to keep an eye on that.
Yeah, I guess is my last thought for the podcast. I have one question for you. Would you marry her? Let's get one last pun for the ending. Do you have any last
Hey,
thoughts for the podcast?
no, thanks for listening as always. I feel like this was kind of a catch up, by the book kind of episode. So thank you guys for sticking with it this long. Hopefully, we can have more to report on as we get more used to her.
Oh man, yeah, I'm sure I'll have
All
some
right.
feedback next week, and I actually don't think next week should be that huge for releases. So we'll definitely have to. If you guys have any interesting topics you want us to touch on, or just topics in general, maybe not interesting ones, but uh, some content to go over. Although we may have to revisit her a little bit because if we have a
Yeah.
chance to actually play with her and kind of like see how effective these like theoretical plays are, that'd be
Yeah.
cool. I actually earlier since it's already on her page, looking at all the abilities and stuff, I checked my shards and I just MLB'd her, so that was cool.
Oh, nice. Yeah. I only got her to LB4.
Like I get her some JP. But all
You
right, hope
invested
you.
way more than I did.
Yeah, I hope you. I haven't even spent the medals yet.
Oh, Jesus.
I'm thinking about the VC or not. I have like 150 medals sitting there. But
Don't do it.
anyway, thank you for watching. I've been Zach Burrell,
I've been Danabu. Thanks,
a-
guys.
and we'll see you next time.